He's like, actually, what you just said to me, no one but my mother would have known. There's just no way that you would have known this. And I never believed in life after death, but you have now just proven to me that it exists.
This is A Joyful Rebellion, the podcast that explores that moment you realize the life and success you worked so hard to create didn't come with all the fulfillment you thought it would. I'm your host, James Walters, and I want you to be the author of your own story. Each week, I connect with people who inspire bold answers to the question, what do I do now to create a life I love? If you're ready to start answering that question for yourself, you're in the right place. So let's start a joyful rebellion. Kate Branagh, thank you for being here at, where are we? We're at the Fuquay Mineral Springs Inn.
Yes, we are. One of the haunted attractions in Fuquay.
Yeah, this is my second go here. I was here about exactly a year ago with Liz Pardue. Mm-hmm. When I talked to Liz, so she does ghost tours. This is kind of one of the meeting spots along the tour. That's the reason we met here, because she told about Pauline and her haunted garden. And Pauline haunts the garden, it sounds like.
Yes.
She talked a lot about you, but she didn't name you in her stuff. She said this really cool medium that she worked with. Then she had this story behind it about how you told her, oh, we've got to do this. I've got to tell you something. I've got something I need to tell you. And I want you to tell that story from your side, because I've heard it from Liz's side. That's kind of how you and I got together, because I messaged Liz and I was like, hey, you talked about that medium. Is she like around, and can I get in touch with her? And she's like, oh yeah, here's her number. So that's how we're together right now.
Magic.
Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me.
This is going to be fun.
This is amazing. I'm having the spookiest month ever. This is the best.
It's a gorgeous day out. I mean, it's one of the nicest days I can remember ever. It is it's like 72 all day.
Actually, I walked down and I was like, ooh, it's a little chill.
Yeah.
I could use a little sweater.
It feels like fall.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you're having a spooky month, huh?
Having a spooky month. Yeah. Well, you mentioned Liz, and she had mentioned me on her TikTok. Immediately people reached out to her, like, who is this medium? Tell me more. So she reached out to me and she's like, hey, do you want to meet a bunch of strangers?
How do you feel about that?
That sounds like a party. Let's do it. She was so kind to kind of go through them and make sure I didn't get any serial killers or anything.
Okay. So far, so good.
So far, so good. I have not been serial killed once.
Okay.
So we're doing well. But yeah, so many people reached out, and I kind of took it as an opportunity to blast forward and just do it. The universe calls and you got to answer.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. What do they say? You never want to do something when you feel like you're prepared. Just go in there. So how did you meet Liz? It sounds like a pretty cool story.
I'm a baker, and I work in Stick Boy Bakery here in town. And I was not a baker until the day I was a baker. I've been many different things. I was just working there kind of part-time, scooping cookies. I had been a nanny for the bosses, and I was kind of just landed at scooping cookies for a little while, and there was changeover in the employees. So I was like, well, I'm pretty sure I could Google this and be a baker. I'm pretty sure Google will take me there to Bakertown. So that's how I became a baker there at Stick Boy. They took a chance. A chance on a wild girl.
That's cool. All right.
So through doing that, Liz Pardue started working there for a time. And immediately we were like, oh, you spooky? Yeah, I think you're spooky. Hey, spooky girl, what's up?
Okay.
So we started kind of trading stories back and forth, and she had just started working on her book that is for sale. So go and get it.
Yeah. I've got 2 copies.
Oh.
Well, actually, I don't. I gave one away last year after she brought me one that was signed, and I already had one that I got from the Kickstarter that was signed. So I was like, I'm keeping one. I did a giveaway for the other one. So
nice.
Yeah, it was
nice.
fun.
Now someone else out there is enjoying the spookiness.
That's right. And figuring out how to say Fuquay Verena. That's how you say it, everyone. Fuquay Verena.
Few, not many.
Right.
Quay. Not any other way.
That's right.
we linked up that way at the bakery, just kind of talking back and forth. And I don't tell everyone that I'm a medium because I understand how the world works.
Yeah.
It's for me one of those things that it's not a deal breaker. If you don't believe in it, that's not your cup of tea. Cool. Not a big deal. We can be friends and it's not a problem
right.
at all. But I don't love people looking at me like I'm crazy. So we try to be careful about who I tell. But now I'm on a podcast, so I guess
oh boy,
guess I blew that.
Anyway. Only the right people will listen to this.
Exactly. Yeah. So I told her I was a medium, and she was like, well, I'm interested. I was like, okay, let's do it. If someone is into it, then I feel like there's a reason they are.
Yeah.
She came over and we talked, and the funny thing that happens during my readings, I tend to let a lot of it go at the end. I am an empath and a medium, and holding on to stuff is just kind of makes my body feel icky. So I tend to kind of forget things that I said afterwards. But I do remember from our reading in particular that there's this woman coming forward. And I was like, I feel like she's indigenous, but she has blonde hair. I could see her very clearly. She went in to converse with Liz, and Liz is like, I think this woman's still alive. I had this occurrence one other time in a reading. And I just had this feeling. I was like, does she have Alzheimer's or dementia? And Liz didn't really know at the time, so we really couldn't go much further on it. But what was the kicker was that weeks later, Liz reached out to this woman's daughter, and the first thing out of her mouth was, well, did you know Daisy? I believe her name was Daisy. Daisy has Alzheimer's. Immediately, she's texting me like, ah.
Yeah.
So
it's like good news, bad news.
Yeah,
good news is you're right, and bad news is you're right.
Yeah.
Also.
What's interesting though, and I've had a few more occurrences of that as time has gone on. My grandmother had Alzheimer's, and that was really hard to watch her go through. And at least for me personally, there's something a little relieving knowing that when she's not there, she's somewhere really great.
Yeah.
And can communicate fully and is the person that she knows she is inside. That's the positive, I guess, from something like that. You never want to hear someone has Alzheimer's, but feeling that there's a little magic that goes along there for them.
That's good.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, that takes me down the road of you. It sounds like you could see this person who was around Liz. So is it mostly visual? Is it in your head visual? Or is it like you can see something beside them? Like what? Take me through the sensory experience for you.
Absolutely. And actually, I do this a lot in my readings because people are just curious a lot of the times. And knowledge is power. So for me, I see and experience things in mind's eye. So I can look at you. I'm looking at you currently. And I can look away and I can still imagine your exact face. Okay, right. Sure. Interestingly, though, I heard not everyone can do this.
Oh.
Just imagine.
I heard, so I've got a friend who said that there are people who, when they read a book, they cannot visualize what's going on when they read the words.
What's happening?
I wonder that too. And it must be awful because you've heard that thing where a book is magic because you read all these symbols and then you sort of hallucinate what the symbols mean, that you read the words, you imagine what the words describe. And to not be able to do that is terrible. But it sounds like that's a little bit of what you're doing when something's coming through for you.
Yes.
Okay.
It's like daydreaming, really. So I can still look at you and see the things that I'm seeing in my head.
Yeah.
And then similarly, it's mind's ear. I guess I can hear things in my inner voice. And that's, again, something not everyone experiences, which is wild. I can see words sometimes. I can see images, like a house, a horse, or whatever, anything random. So that's how I experience it. It's not very commonly physical for me in terms of there's this physical thing next to me.
You described being a baker. You said you were a baker the day you started being a baker. What was it like when you realized you could do this? Was there the day before you realized you could do this and then every day since? What was the cutoff there And what happened to make you realize that, ooh, this is a real thing?
Yeah.
This is not a daydream.
My first really big encounter happened when I was probably about 21. It was a little while, and my whole life experienced empathic abilities, although I didn't know that. You know, how do you know? It's your personal experience. You don't know if it's any different than anyone else's.
You don't know what's weird and what's not weird. And
right.
Yeah.
So it was later on that I found out that I was absorbing other people's energy and stuff. But I did have imaginary friends when I was a kid, but I mean, lots of kids have them.
Yeah.
And there's an argument to be said that kids are just more open and that we shouldn't take those things lightly, that maybe they are really encountering spirits. But I don't know. But I do remember my first big one when I was like 21. I was in college, and it was the summer, and I had stayed there that summer. I went to school in New York City, and I just wanted to be cool, and I didn't want to go back to Pennsylvania. So I was staying in the dorm room, and I was laying there that night in my bed, and all of a sudden, so clear and obvious to my brain, there's a man standing next to me. And I have my eyes closed. I'm like trying to get all cozy and stuff. I'm trying to go to bed, and I'm seeing this man, and he's like in his 30s, and he's standing over me. And every time I try to ignore him with the cover over my head, you know, like I'm starting to get a little weirded out. And I could feel him bend over me. And I had this friend who happened to be there that summer who I knew was a medium. I knew about her experiences. And she actually, strangely enough, predicted September 11th, the day before it happened, which was wild because we saw it all happen the next day in front of our eyes. So I really believe in her abilities. So I went to her room and I just said, hey, don't think I'm a crazy person, but could you please just go into my room and tell me what you're feeling? Could you? She was
just
like,
take the temperature. Yeah.
Okay. So she walks in. She comes out like a minute later. She's like, there's a man standing next to your bed. I'm like, okay. So that's bizarre. Like, been confirmed. And I immediately was like, well, I'm not getting kicked out of my room. I'm claiming my space.
Yeah.
And so I went back into the room, and I was laying there for a while, and I was just feeling very uncomfortable. And this is so weird. All of a sudden, I felt the presence of my grandmother, who had just passed like a month or two before. And it really caught me off guard because this is my first time experiencing anything ghosty. And I'm just digesting that. And now I'm like, this is my grandmom. I don't know what's happening. And she tells me to get a notebook. So I do, because this feels real to me.
Yeah.
You know, and I write down things from my brother and my uncles. I'm just writing. And before she leaves, I can feel her hands in my hands. And I know she's left when I felt them let go.
Okay.
So this guy that came through, I think he just kind of like snuck his way through.
Yeah.
You know? But my grandma was like really the big main event there. And 2 weeks later, my brother was graduating from high school. So I took these notes with me. And I've always been more brave for my own good, you know, like I just can't help myself. So I brought this notebook to my parents' house and I pulled my uncles aside one by one. I was like, hey, this is going to sound super crazy.
Oh.
But I have some things to tell you. So I shared with my dad and my one uncle and my last uncle I went to, and I know he's the skeptic, right? And I'm like, this is so uncomfortable, but it's like this feeling that if I don't do it, I'm letting someone down.
Yeah, like you're letting down your grandmother.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's such an intense feeling that I push aside my personal discomfort
Okay.
to do this. So I read him what was on the paper, and he was very quiet. I was like, okay, you think I'm bananas. Let's just forget I said anything. And he's like, no. He's like, actually, what you just said to me, no one but my mother would have known. There's just no way that you would have known this. And I never believed in life after death, but you have now just proven to me that it exists.
Wow.
And that was so wild. That was a lot at 21.
Yeah.
You know, so.
That's really wild. Then you were like, okay, how does this work? Did you go seek out that friend and be like, okay, like what's about to happen to me? Like, what am I in for here?
It's interesting because it's been a very slow progression for me. At the time, I was in school for music, and all I wanted out of life was to be a singer-songwriter.
Yeah.
That was it. Like, I was going to be famous. So anything else took a backseat.
Okay.
So as time went on, I was continuing to have these experiences, and it kind of started taking a turn for me because I fell out of control of it. Things would come to me that I did not feel comfortable coming to me. There was one night I was laying in bed and there was a woman floating over me who was pregnant. So I'm seeing it, and then the empath me is feeling it, and I'm just crying in my bed by myself.
Whoa.
And I'm like, this is so weird. What is happening? I'm a regular person, okay?
Or I used to be.
I used to be. I know I'm a medium, but I'm a regular ass person. And this shit blows my mind, right? Like, it's always a surprise. So I was having encounters like that.
Because it's not like you were out looking for it.
No.
It's not like you were going to some spooky place and being like, okay, somebody come,
No.
come on through.
No.
Yeah, you were just minding your business.
Minding my business. One time I went with an ex-boyfriend of mine up to his house in Massachusetts. And I didn't know this at the time, but his house had been the slave quarters for the farmhouse. So, we hung out with his family all day, yada, yada. And then later on in the night, we were staying in this like other little house, guest quarters or whatever. We came into the house at night, and all of a sudden I just felt knocked over. Like it's like getting electrocuted. That's what it feels like. You can't speak. You're just filled with this energy.
Yeah.
I liken it to actually putting your finger in a socket, right? If you don't have something to ground yourself, you get electrocuted.
Yeah.
This is the same thing with the spirit world.
Okay.
You take in an energy and you don't know how to ground yourself. You don't know how to process it out of your body. You're just going to get walloped.
Wow.
It's very overwhelming. And when I was there, I saw a woman in the corner of his house, and she had braids down the sides of her head, and she was most likely a slave. And she was telling me that the kids had been taken. And she just kept screaming, get out, get out. Every time she said get out, it was like a wave. Like I would have to step back because it was so powerful. And this woman was reliving this over and over again every night. So I just step out for a second, take a breather. Well, I went back in and I tried to talk to her and just tell her, you're stuck here. This is not happening anymore. And, she backed off. But I was really new at all this stuff, and it was just wild. It was really, really wild. So the next day, my boyfriend is like, oh, tell my sister what you experienced. That's the last thing I want to tell his family members. Like,
who live there, yeah.
This is the first time I'm meeting them.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, hi, nice to meet you. I'm Kooky Pants. Like, so nice to meet you.
By the way, there's a lady who lives in the corner of your room over here and screams a lot. I don't know if you've...
She's full of rage. So anyway.
Wow.
Yeah. So I reluctantly told her, and she was very quiet about it. And then when we got back to New York, he pulled me aside and he's like, my sister didn't say anything to you, but just so you know, like later she talked to me and said every night of my life when I was living there, I had the reoccurring nightmare that there was a woman in that corner with braids in her hair, and she was screaming at me to get out.
Dude.
And she's like, that's why I always kept the light on. He didn't know about any of this.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And that blew my mind.
Yeah.
It blew my mind. I was like, all right, well, guess this is really happening, right?
That leads me to, this is not a question, this is just like a question for the world. Like, what are dreams? Our dreams when we travel in other places. What the heck are dreams? I
think dreams are not just one thing.
Yeah.
I think the bland scientific definition of your brain deconstructing your day, I think that's one thing your dreams do. I think also you are in an altered state in your dream world where you are relaxed and messages can come through to you. Your loved ones can reach out to you. You can experience lots of different things in your dreams. So not all dreams, I think, are spooky.
No, for sure. They're bizarre sometimes. I mean, mine are. I think everybody's had the similar dreams where like you're running in slow motion and and then you feel like you're running through water.
Oh my God.
So much. Then if you really have to fight back something and you try to hit it, it's like you're so powerful until it gets like right there, and then it's like a pillow or something. It's like, oh, it's so weird, strange.
I have a reoccurring dream that it's the end of the semester and I've never gone to math class. And like, I swear, like every week I have this dream. And it's not spooky. It's that I was real bad at math.
Okay.
Always
Math was not your jam. It was not my jam either. It sounds like you have some things that are happening and no one else is able to be sensitive to them except for you. Is that kind of what's common when you're around friends, like that example you just gave? You walk into the house and you see someone in the corner. No one else does. Whatever that was there was always there. Sounds like, because that other person could only access that energy through their dreams. Because they're not exactly seeking you out. They're just there. Yes. You're observing it. And that must get pretty trippy if you're just out places observing energy that no one else sees. And they're like, oh, we're going to drop you by the loony bin after this, if you don't mind.
Well, that's why I'm selective about who I tell things to, you know. Sometimes you just got to keep it to yourself,
that's
you
right.
know, and that's okay. Not everyone has to know everything that's going on in your head. I'm a big fan of that.
Oh, man. So let's say someone comes to you and let's say they had a death in the family and they're trying to get some questions answered because they left the last 3 lines of the will blank,
right,
or whatever it was. And they're saying, well, we think grandma would have wanted this, or we think uncle whatever. People say that stuff all the time. And how do you know? I mean, you know sometimes, but sometimes you don't really. Do people come to you and say, okay, we've got to figure out these questions. We think they would have wanted this, but we're not sure. So can you help us find out?
I'm always clear with people about the kind of readings that I do. First of all, I always tell people, like, I can't conjure anything.
It's probably good. Yes. We're not going to have a portal left open here when we leave. Okay.
And if I was conjuring something, it'd be like a rainbow unicorn or something really adorable. So, you know. No, I don't conjure anything, and I can't force the other side to answer questions they don't want to answer. So I tell people that usually how my vibe works, I guess, my readings are very therapeutic. They tend to be. Sometimes that's on the part of spirit. Sometimes spirit needs to apologize for something. Spirit needs to clarify something. A lot of times it's about the person I'm reading and kind of the perspective that spirit has for them in their life. However, direct answers are real difficult.
Yeah.
Because our job on earth is to make our own decisions.
Yeah.
Right. We can't have the other side telling us what to do. That's just not what our human experience is supposed to be. So I find that people don't always get the answers that they want, but they tend to get the answers that they need.
Okay. Like vegetables.
Yeah. Yes.
Not what you want, but your body needs it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I always hope that people feel better after a reading, or they feel like they've experienced something positive. That's what I go for. Some people need some heart-to-heart talking, and other people just like want to have some fun and hear some spooky stuff. I just try to meet people where they're at, and you know, the other side does what it wants to do.
What kind of environment do you have to set up for the best chance at success with someone that does have, I guess, questions for someone close to them, or they just are interested in what the possibilities are?
I have my own process, if that's what you're asking me about. It's still growing and changing. It's usually about 2 hours that I give myself. I want to pare that down because it's becoming a little
Yeah.
But it's nice. A lot of times make like an Epsom-salt bath and put some bubbles up in there. I like to just kind of reset, relax my mind. The water is a very powerful component for me too. Feeling the water just helps me, I don't know, connect to my spiritual self. And then after that, I'll get ready and start opening myself up. It's so silly to say out loud, but I'll say it out loud. I open myself up to messages of love and light. No negative energy may pass. I start opening myself up. I call in my guides. And as I'm getting ready, I start getting messages.
Okay.
So like sometimes spirit will be like, put on this lipstick. I like this one. Or put on this dress. I like that. Once in a while, that kind of thing will happen. But after I get myself ready, I sit down and I have a little notebook and I open my mind and I just start writing. So sometimes it's I see a person and I start describing them. get spirits like personality very clearly. That I love. And some spirits are just so fun, like, hey, Shook, how you doing? Whatever. I get that, and I start to get to know them a little bit more. So when I get in front of the person I'm reading, I can give them a clear concept of who is there for them. I just start speaking to them and seeing what they have to give me and taking in the images. And then when I just start the reading, I just call up the person. I do it over FaceTime because that's easy.
Oh, yeah.
Easy peasy. Everyone has their own space. That's nice. And then we just jump in. And for me, it's like putting together a jigsaw puzzle. I can tell you, oh, there's a house over here, and there's a Ferris wheel over here, and there's this woman, she looks like this, but I don't exactly know how it all fits together yet. Okay. So in my readings, it's very much a conversation that I lead, but I look for validation from the person I'm reading. Like, oh, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, there's a Ferris wheel in my backyard, or whatever. So that's how we piece it together. And it always amazes me how the message comes together. It usually looks like a mess to me when I start out, and I suffer so badly from imposter syndrome. Like,
I would imagine, yes. So something like that, where people are already a little skeptical, right? And then on top of that, there's no linear process to it.
Right.
It's more art than science. And
it does not escape me that it's weird, not at all. Not at all. But
so at the end of a reading, you click off of FaceTime and all that. Are you exhausted? Because like, I'm an introvert. My partner, she's an extrovert. We could be at a party and like her battery is getting more and more full the longer we're at the party, and my battery is going down, down. And then we're both leave the party, and she's like, yeah, ready to go do more. And I'm like, I'm ready to die. I mean, just put me to bed.
Over.
And
I'm peopled out.
Shower, pass out, and I'm good. And she doesn't understand me. I don't understand how she does that. So where do you fit being an empath, taking on the energy, but then also it sounds like you do a lot to protect your energy beforehand anyway. So
yes, I was a bartender in New York City for like 15 years.
Yeah.
And I'm not joking. It taught me a lot about holding my ground, especially with strangers. How to handle myself when someone's encroaching upon my space and I don't want it. And just New York City in general will teach you that too. But it's funny, I understand both of you because socially I'm like you. Like, I'll go out, but then by the end I'm like, okay, I need to sit in the dark and I need to watch some murder shows or something.
Anything.
Just recharge. But when it comes to the spirit stuff, man, that amps me up so much. It really does. Because what I do, I feel like I'm making a difference. I think I'm doing something positive for someone. And at the core, that's all I want to do is make people feel good. So that makes me feel awesome. And also, like, when I've had a reading where I start out feeling like an imposter, and by the end, it's like all of this stuff has been revealed to be true and validated. I'm like, well, damn.
Yeah.
Well, shit.
Go, right?
Okay.
That leads me to wonder, have you had clients who, I just thought of this because I could see if, let's say I got in touch with you because I heard something that you had done or had a friend you talked to, and they were like, oh yeah, I learned some stuff. It was really cool. So I'm wondering, like, let's say you have a really successful reading with someone, then they call you up and they're like, hey, I love that. I want to like do it again next week.
Yeah.
And then they want to do it again the next week. Okay. Do you have people who turn into junkies?
This does happen.
Okay.
I can't say that I'm like far along enough that I've had that to that degree.
Yeah.
But I have told people, some of my friends, I'm clear. The spirits are clear. They're like, we have nothing to say. Oh. They get kind of annoyed when you rely on them too much.
Oh, that's interesting.
It just becomes a blank. I did a reading for someone recently who had a reading like 2 weeks before, and I was not getting a lot, and it was kind of freaking me out. And then we found out that she had just had a reading. So we did make a very important connection during the reading, but it wasn't as big as what it usually is for me.
Okay.
The other side wants you to go out and succeed.
Like break things.
Yeah. Do whatever
just
you got to do.
Experience life.
Exactly.
Okay.
And they don't want you to like ring the doorbell all the time.
Like, excuse me, I need some advice from the other side.
But straight up, I've had instances where spirit has been like, They're saying they already told you and they're not going to tell you again.
Oh,
Very
whoa.
like direct, very
Yeah.
direct. Yeah. Yeah.
And how is that received by the person?
That's always been with people that I am closer with. And so it's understood like, okay, all right, that's part of this too, right? That we can't overdo it. To your point, like I think it's really important people focus on making their own decisions and trusting themselves and their instincts. It commonly comes up in readings for people to trust their own instincts instead of looking for answers elsewhere.
Have you had an experience yet? Because a lot of the way we started the conversation, you said sometimes spirits come to you and you don't know what it's about. And you're not exactly asking for any sort of contact. Have you had you're like around someone you don't even know, and then there's like something going on that side of things, and you're trying to piece the dots together and figure out, okay, why is this thing trying to reach out to me because it knows I can sense it?
Right.
And is it related to this person at all? And how do I navigate that? Kind of like what happened with Liz, it sounds like a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what happened with my grandma.
Okay.
I think she reached out to me to
talk to your uncles.
Yeah. That's not so commonly my experience.
Okay.
More so what will happen is that someone will book a reading with me and then spirit will show up. Like immediately. Like, oh hey.
Yeah.
I heard we're doing a thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, you gotta wait in the waiting room. I'm sorry. This is too early. Like, I can't talk with you. There's one good instance. During COVID, my abilities kind of way flew open.
Okay.
I had been bartending forever. I was no longer bartending. And there was a big energy shift for me. Not being in front of people constantly and appeasing them and putting on a song and dance just really freed me up.
Wait, is that when you started baking?
It was a little after that.
Okay.
It was after that.
Because the rhythm of your day going from bartending to baking, that's way different because you start at wildly opposite ends of the day.
Wildly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that happened during COVID. All of a sudden, I was just going to bed earlier because there's nothing to do.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And then you're like waking up earlier because like, well, I went to bed at 6 p.m. and your body can only handle so much sleep, for God's sakes. So my rhythm changed up a lot and my energy just shifted. I was like, all right, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. And I kind of just asked the universe or whoever's out there, let's do 10 readings.
Okay.
Give me 10 people in my life, my expanded life, that I should read for. And someone would come to mind and I would read for them. I gotten through like 5 or so. And this person came to mind, this guy, Andy. And he was a musician friend from New York. Love him. Great, hilarious dude. I also know that like this is not his thing.
Yeah.
In any manner.
Okay.
Like I was immediately horrified when his face came to mind. I was like, nopey nope. Like there's no way that I'm going to put myself in that situation. So I kind of blew it off. Then all of a sudden, spirits coming at me. There's this woman. She's like, oh, hi, how are you? I love Andy. He's my favorite. He's like my son.
Oh, boy.
She's telling me all about herself. I'm telling her to go away. I'm like, I'm not reading for him. This is going to be embarrassing. I'm not doing it. She just kept at me and she would follow me into the shower, anywhere. She was just telling me all about herself.
Pleasantly persistent.
Pleasantly. And she didn't scare me or anything. She's just like this fun lady. But she's telling me my name is Margaret and I died of lung cancer. I was a singer and a dancer and a performer. And I just feel so close with Andy. Wouldn't leave me alone. Finally, I was like, fine.
Yeah.
I will do this. I will horrify myself. So I reach out to him and he's like, yeah, you're right. This isn't my thing. But like, if you want me to do this, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Like, great.
Do it for you, Kate.
Yay.
Right. Yeah.
So I get on the phone with him and I'm just like sick to my stomach and I'm telling him the information that I have. And he's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm like, cool.
Andy's into it, clearly.
Cool. I'm like, okay. And then I get this message. I'm like, I have to ask him. I'm like, who in your family is researching your genealogy? He said, my twin sister is. Like, all right, you need to go to her because she knows exactly who this person is.
Oh.
And we left it on that. I got off the phone. I was like, well, I'm never doing that ever again. Actually, I'm never leaving my house again.
Andy's signing the restraining order as we speak. It's
I
awkward.
passed away. I have passed over. But then, like 2 or 3 days later, I get a text from him. And it just says, I don't know what to think about this, but I talked to my sister, and it turns out my grandfather, who I was very, very close to, had a sister who died before I was born.
Oh.
And her name was Margaret, and she died of lung cancer, and she was a singer and a performer and a dancer.
Whoa.
And I just lost it. I lost my shit. I couldn't believe it. That was, to date, probably one of the biggest validations I've ever gotten, because it was in front of a person that was such a skeptic.
Yeah. Whoa.
Man, it would have turned around from feeling like total shit
Yeah.
to being like, oh, God, look at me, I'm spooky.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but I'm slowly learning to trust myself more, and definitely trust the other side, that I'm not seeing things just for my own good.
Yeah.
You know?
That's really cool. And hearing about your preparation, it sounds like one of the first things you do is sort of put that force field of positivity around
Yes.
you. Have there ever been times where maybe that didn't work so well and anything dark showed up and was hanging around when you were trying to do a reading?
Not really. I've had instances where something was, I could see it across the street.
Okay.
It sounds so silly, but I put up a force field in my mind. A lot of this is not tangible. This ability is not tangible, so you rely on the imagination. You rely on imagery to help you protect yourself and to manipulate your abilities. So I put a force field up, and I have seen things across the street, and we've discussed them in the reading, like, okay, there's this negative thing, but I've luckily not had to encounter anything in my house while I'm doing readings negative.
Gotcha. We talked on the phone last week just to get set up for this, and there's this one place that when you walk past, it feels a little heavy. Why don't you tell that story? That would be creepy.
Yeah,
level
I
9.
actually had to walk past it coming here today, and I was like, don't like it. It's this house that I started walking past during COVID, because, you know, everyone was like, well, I guess we'll go for a damn walk, because I've done everything else. We just walk, nowhere to go, and walked by this house. And immediately I was struck, and all I heard was Hell House. And of course that got my attention, because that's not normal or friendly. And I'm like, oh, my heavens, Hell House, you say? So I'm walking by it, and it's the same thing I see every time when I walk by it. And I've never been in this house. When you walk in the front door, there's immediately stairs leading up in the foyer. And I see a man. There's a man in a wife beater and gray slacks and suspenders. And he's running down the stairs with a shotgun in his hand. And there's this woman in front of him, and she's wearing a periwinkle colored dress, and she's being chased down the stairs. And I just see them running. And I don't see any more. I just see this domestic abuse situation play over and over and over again. So I really hate going by that house. It's got bad juju. Interestingly, though, I got verified that this is a haunted house on Liz's tour, because I went on her tour. Of course I did. And this house was in it. And I just was like, of course. And I got to talk to the man that either lives there now or used to live there. And he said that at night they would get woken up because they would hear people running down the stairs all the time, and it would freak him out. He would thought someone was in the house and what have you, and no one in the house.
Okay, so when I was growing up, Scooby-Doo was my favorite
Yeah.
favorite cartoon. And I grew up on Scooby-Doo. Every Saturday they would solve some mysteries. And I was like, okay, this spooky stuff's kind of cool, but at the end of every episode of Scooby-Doo, they just take the mask off the ghost or the pirate or whatever it is, and it's just a regular dude.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I feel like maybe that's my life, because I've gone looking for spooky things and nothing's there. So I feel like I'm ghost repellent, or it's like some people can't see green or blue. I can't see whatever other people can see, to the point where I've been in the same room with people and they're like, oh yeah, I had these experiences, or they saw something, or they felt something, heard something. I was like, cool. I went to the Bellamy Mansion. This was this time last year. It's supposed to be super crazy haunted. It was built before the Civil War. It was occupied during the Civil War by soldiers. A lot of that kind of activity. It was supposed to go from 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. By about 1 a.m., I was done. I'd seen everything I wanted to see. And I was like, I'm leaving. And then the next morning, I get up and there's this chat on like a Facebook page of the people who had been there. They're like, oh my gosh, starting at 1 a.m., the activity really ramped up. And I was like, crap, I'm literally the one holding everyone up from this. And as soon as I left, the floodgates open. What do you make of that? Like, are there some people who come around, they're just like they just repel the spirit world? The spirit world's like, no, not that one. I can't.
I a lot of times describe it as like the ability is like a radio. And I think everyone has a radio. Everyone is a radio. Just some people pick up more than others. And some people pick up less than others, I think.
My radio's off. I think it switched. Oh, either that or it's missing like a tube or a transistor or whatever radios have. Yeah.
So I tried to ask Spirit if anyone wanted to come forward to talk to you. And sometimes Spirit just tells me about the person beforehand.
Spirit's like, we looked him up in the book. He's not in the book. We don't know anything.
Sorry. It's not in our papers.
He doesn't exist.
Sorry. I was told that you are very open-minded but logical.
Yeah, that's accurate.
And that this is a rub for you.
I feel a little slighted.
Yeah. Sorry, it was all in my book over there. It's across the way. But yeah, it said that you struggle with that you are open-minded enough to go to the thing, but don't think that you're going to see it anyway.
It's like when you keep asking for that thing for Christmas and then your parents keep giving you socks and underwear. It's like, oh, but I wanted like the race car or whatever it is you want. And also, I think I became fascinated by this at a young age because I heard my grandparents talking about their experience. So I have this one great aunt who I never went to this house, but my grandparents would go visit. It was my grandmother's sister. And I don't know how old the house was, but supposedly they had what that generation called a walker. They would hear something going up and down the steps at night. And I was like, okay, that seems spooky. I was maybe 5 or 6 years old when I'm hearing this. Same time I'm watching Scooby-Doo on the weekends. That was like, okay, that's cool. That's something you hear. So I'm a visual person. I'm a photographer. So hearing something, okay, cool. It could be anything. But if I see something or imagine someone else describing seeing something, that's different for me. That's very different. So my grandmother said, oh, and also whenever we would be in her living room and I'd be here on the sofa and they would be on the seat across, and then there's the coffee table in between, she would see, like, when you're getting gas in the summertime and the vapors come up off the gas pump or whatever. She said it was like that, like just kind of drifted through the room, just like a little ripple in the air that she could see between her and her sister. And I was like, now that's cool. That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
That was all it was. And I was like, I need to explore that a little bit more. So I was at a family reunion a couple of years ago, and I was like, okay, because that whole generation's gone now, my grandparents' generation, but their kids are still around, and they're probably 15, 20 years older than me. I was like, whose house was this? And one of them was like, oh, yeah, that was our house. Yeah, there was something going on there. I would walk in the room sometime, and the rocking chair was going, but nobody was home.
Yeah.
But I didn't really think much about it, and I was
maybe
like,
the wind or...
I was like, let's back that up for a second. You walked into a room and you're the only one home and there's a rocking chair rocking and you kind of didn't really think much of it. Can we talk about that for a minute?
People are more comfortable sometimes just shrugging their shoulders at it.
Yeah. It's like, oh, it's house settling.
Who's to say?
Wow.
I did want to ask you if you were in the Boy Scouts.
Yes.
You were in the Boy Scouts. Okay. So I did have someone come forward named Doug, who is in a Boy Scout uniform. He's an adult.
Okay.
So he would have been like the adult. I don't know, but he was the one telling me that you're open-minded, but very logical.
Interesting. I wasn't in the Boy Scouts for very long, and I'm wondering if one of the scout leaders was named Doug, but I don't know.
I don't know. I'll be honest, too. So in my non-spooky life, I'm very bad with names.
Yeah.
And it seems to have bled into my spooky life.
Okay.
I have a hard time nailing the names, but I still put it out there anyway, because if I hear it, I'm going to share it. That's like part of my ethics, I guess, or whatever. He's wearing a Boy Scout.
That's cool.
Uh-huh.
That's super cool. Okay.
It's the only person that came forward for you.
That tracks. 100%.
Yeah. That happens to me a lot, though. People will come back to me later and be like, so I found out who this person was,
I want to backtrack to when you were 21 and you realized this was a real thing. You had the person from down the hall come in your dorm room. They confirmed what you already knew. Then you had an experience at the house that weekend. Then that was confirmed. What were some of the steps? Like, who did you talk to? Who did you reach out to? Or how did you figure out how to get into your like method, how to protect your energy, for example, or and how to do the bath thing? And
Yeah, I kind of just made it up. I'm kind of like that in most things, like I taught myself guitar and I taught myself baking. And a lot of times I like to find my own path. I find that if you take your own path, you come up with something unique that is yours. If you take someone else's path, you ended up with what they have.
Yeah.
And I like to always be true to myself. I just feel like the best things come out of people who are being authentic and genuine.
Yeah.
So I just heard that salt baths were good. I just heard that. I was like, well, they're also nice.
Yeah.
They smell good.
Very comfortable.
This is win-win. No way to lose here. And some of it is just intuitive, like the writing down part. I came from my first big experience, which interestingly, I'm just making that connection on. So thank you for giving me a little perspective on myself.
Oh, that's cool.
The writing down stuff, yeah, that just started happening because I couldn't keep it all in my head. I was getting all of these pictures and stuff and would want to be able to deliver it all. But yeah, most of it's just been intuitive.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is it when you are doing a reading for someone and whatever their hopes and thoughts and all the stuff with the reason that they came to you, and sometimes things come through and sometimes things don't so much, but what is it you're hoping they leave with? Like kind of what's common between every person? The reason you do it, you want to help people. What is it you're hoping to help them do?
It's a great question. I think it's kind of different for different people. I always say that I'm not a therapist, although I do want to go back to school to be one. I do want to do that. That's maybe my next adventure. I'm not a therapist, but I find that everyone who comes to me has a different thing to find. For maybe Andy, it was just kind of like questioning his belief system, maybe for him, it was just that.
Open his mind a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. For other people, it is making those deep connections with someone who is passed over and they need to hear from them. Other times they don't get to hear what they think they're going to hear, but I feel like I always get to deliver meaningful information.
Okay.
So I hope when people leave my readings, they feel a little more connected to the universe, feel a little more wonder about what's out there, and feel more positive and connected to themselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if someone wanted to connect with you, what's the best way to do that?
I have an Instagram.
Okay.
And it is Spooky Time Kate.
Okay.
On Instagram.
Love it.
That's me. So you can reach out to me there and I'll message you back.
Okay.
That's
good. We'll have that in the show notes. So if anybody's listening right now, they're in the car, they can just hit the top of the show notes and go to your account. Yeah. Slide in your DMs.
Slide in my DMs. I just made it, so I don't have too many pictures up, but we're getting there.
We're getting there.
You're
going to have a link to a podcast soon, all sorts of stuff. We're going to have clips from this. It's going to be fun. Pull out some of the good quotes and all that stuff. What's something that maybe we haven't talked about that you think is important for people to hear about the other side, about the spirit world? What's something that people get wrong so often that you're kind of tired of having to re-explain it? She's like, do you have another hour? How much time do we have?
It's still a big mystery to me what's out there. I get little glimpses of wisdom, and that's amazing. But I am no expert at all in this. I'm just a radio.
Okay.
But one thing people really, I think, get wrong, and I hope this is not offensive to anyone, but the parameters they put around themselves with religion sometimes, things that they're afraid of, right? I'm going to go to hell if I do this. I'm going to suffer forever if I'm. This is not my experience with the other side. And it's frustrating to watch people judge one another with such certainty, such bold certainty, and tell another person that they are going to go to hell, go somewhere terrible. That is just not my experience. More so, my experience is that hell is a self-imposed place. It's when we don't cross over because we think we don't deserve it, because we think we've done something too terrible to cross over. We're scared. If a person unalives themselves, they think the rule is they can't cross over. Spirits get stuck here for a lot of different reasons. And to me, that's the hell. I wish more people could just stop judging one another and open up their heart to just love and experience. Because that's what we're here for. We're here to love and to experience things. And the other side is waiting for all of us. Doesn't matter who wags their finger in your face and tells you what they think is going to happen to you. It's still over there for you. And it's still over for them too. It's just they might have to do some lesson learning when they get on the other side. It's there for everyone. And there aren't these restrictions around it that people love to put. They love exclusive parties, you know. And the party is open, ladies and gentlemen. It's an open party. The bar is open. Go get yourself a drink.
That's a good way to end things for sure. Kate, thank you so much for coming out to the Fuquay Mineral Springs Inn in the garden. And either Pauline is here or someone's doing laundry because it's very powdery and perfumey in the last 5 minutes or so. I don't know if you've noticed. I caught whiffs as we've been talking for the last probably 20 minutes.
Maybe your eye is opening.
Maybe like a sensory. I'm not visual or audible, but I can smell.
You can smell
ghosts.
They smell sometimes. It's a thing.
Pauline's supposed to be powdery and perfumey, so
love that. What a lady.
It could be laundry across the street.
Who's to say? Who's to say?
Who knows? We'll never know.
We'll never know. Mysteries.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. This was so much fun.
It was a blast. Before you go, I've got something for you. If today's episode sparked a little rebellion in you and you're feeling ready to make a shift, grab my free guide, Plotting Your Joyful Rebellion. It's a 5-step roadmap to help you stop performing the life you were told to want and start building the one that actually fits. Head over to ajoyfulrebellion.com to download it, and I'll meet you there. Oh, and see you next week.